I think, but I did jot down some of the key points, each of them.
Secondly, with regard to the role model for me, would I be right if I say that the Prophet is a role model, the best role model? Do you know why I say the Prophet is a good role model? He was able to change the Jahiliyyah, the uncivilized Arab, to become, over the years, the most powerful civilization in the world. At one time, the Islamic civilization leads the rest of the world. They were very good in science, in medicine, and in other things. So obviously, for a Muslim, the best role model would be the Prophet himself. But for me, there is also another person I regard as a good role model for me. It is a man called Peter the Great of Russia. That's quite far from the Prophet, isn't it? But this man, Peter the Great, Russia at that time was a very backward country. It was not at par with Western Europe. But Peter wanted Russia to be as powerful and as advanced as Western Europe. And he forced upon them various practices in order to make them more civilized in a way. So it is Peter the Great who made Russia a powerful nation, the second most powerful nation in the world. It began with him. He was able to convert the minds of his people to accept the things coming from the West, the values coming from the West. And since then, Russia has made advance, very, very rapid advance, so much so that it is perhaps the next most powerful nation compared to the rest of the world. Now, we in Malaysia, we need to change the mindset of the people. We know that there are three societies, three races in Malaysia, but their development is not equal. One race is very, very rich, another race is very, very poor, and if we want to make the poor rich, giving them money is not the answer. It weakens them. They become totally dependent upon the government. But if you put in them the right values, then they will bring themselves up and catch up with the rest. Right values such as hard work, diligent, right values such as discipline, amana, all these are good values, good Islamic values. If we make these values our values, then of course we can achieve greater advancement. So for me, since the Prophet was able to change the mind of the Jahiliyyah, the ignorant Arab, until over time the Muslims became the highest civilization, much more ahead than Europe. The civilization of Europe, of course, took a lot from the Muslim world. But that I admire, I think of the Prophet as my role model, not that I want to become a prophet. I don't think you will accept me as a prophet. But to try and change the minds of our people so that we have all the right values that will enable us to succeed in our endeavors.